using every kind of pretext you can possibly imagine to seize massive amounts of land, whether it's the Endangered Species Act. Oh, there might be an owl on your property somewhere. Or it's the carbon capture. We got to get CO2 under, so we got to build these huge pipelines. So we have to take thousands and thousands of the best acres of farmland out of production. But the same things are happening all over the world. And that's one of the things I wanted to emphasize in my brief little introduction. They are taking massive amounts of land everywhere in the world, and they're using different pretexts. In Brazil, they were saying they were going to give the land back to the Indians. In South Africa, they were doing expropriation without compensation. They want to add it into the Constitution now under the guise of racial justice. In the United States, it has to do with environment, climate, endangered species, things like that. In China, they don't even need an excuse. Just get off the land or we're going to shoot you, right? And so the same thing is happening all over the world using different pretexts, but I think the objective is always the same. Like she said, remove people off of the land so that you can remove their freedom, so you can bring them under control.
And just one thing to add on that, using the Netherlands, all these regulations, the climate compliance regulations, all go after the small, medium, family-run, generational, small business farms. And once you replace it with the big corporate entities, you can have corporate government collusion that will go along with this agenda. In the case of reducing there's a war on high agricultural yields, going after nitrous oxide, et cetera. It's the same way COVID lockdowns affected the small businesses, and meanwhile the corporate chains could survive. They want the crushing of small business because that's how you're going to fight back. The small independent. Corporate and government are colluding in one voice on all of this, and we're seeing it with the cars, by the way, too. The World Bank isn't going to fund cars. Corporate banks aren't going to give out car loans. You have all of this is done without a vote. The most consequential decisions, whether we can eat meat, high-yield agriculture, buy a gas-powered car, is all being decided between corporate, government, executive, bypassing democracy like a COVID lockdown. We didn't vote for mask mandates or vaccine mandates or lockdowns.
Flu. When they shall say peace and safety, something is safe. Sudden destruction. Look at this, friends. Traces of bird flu virus found in some milk and pasteurized dairy products. Listen.
The FDA says it found particles of the bird flu virus in samples of pasteurized milk. The agency says milk is still safe to drink, but additional testing is needed to confirm.
It comes as officials continue to track the spread of the deadly H5N1 strain. At least 8 states have reported the virus in their cows.
So when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction.
NBC News medical fellow Dr. Akshay Sayal joins us now because I bet you have some questions about this one. All right, so we know milk goes through the pasteurization process, which is supposed to kill germs, supposed to kill viruses. So how are we still finding traces of this in some of these samples? And a lot of people are saying, really, this is safe to drink?
Yeah, I mean, Clip 3.
So when you talk about the pasteurization process, it doesn't exactly remove things. It just kills them. So if you were to test a lot of milk today, you would find things like E. coli, for example.
Mercy. All right, friends, there it is. And what are they saying about the bird flu?
So again, the United States is not prepared. We're not prepared. People know that I believe the great pandemic is coming. It's not COVID. I call that the lesser pandemic. The great pandemic is coming. It's going to be a bird flu pandemic. It's going to be rough. We're going to see some significant mortality around the world, including...
Remember, this is the former CDC director.
We're going to see some significant mortality around the world, including the United States. It's not going to distinguish between different people who's going to have a bad outcome, like COVID had a bad...
All right. Biologists are trying to make bird flu easier to spread. U.S. government-approved experiment to create a type of bird flu that could kill millions of people. That's just me reading the headlines. That's it, friends. And they are working in the laboratory to cross the species barrier from the animal species to the human species.